morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's episode of The Global Lawyer. Today we've got Karan Devgan here with us to discuss the new cutting-edge technology of blockchain and its implications on the legal profession. So, for all of us plebs out here who have no idea what in the world blockchain is, Karan, can you please give us a breakdown?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me on this morning segment. So what is blockchain? Essentially, picture an Excel spreadsheet. Now imagine there's not just one computer that has access to this spreadsheet, but rather it's available on a network of computers. Now imagine that anytime any data is input into the spreadsheet, it's automatically validated by all the different computers. That data is then put into a proverbial block and added to the chain. That's where the term blockchains come from.
I see. So, how is this actually useful to anyone?
Basically, any transaction can be put into this ledger and can be altered if there's a consensus among the group. This removes the need for a centralized authority for validation and also simultaneously keeps a collective history of anything to ever happen on the network.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential applications. So, let me get this straight. All the data for every transaction would theoretically be available forever? You could go back and look at any little thing you want to?
Yes, that is correct. And the important part of this is the legal implications. At the moment, blockchain is still a growing technology with massive challenges on how to govern it. Essentially, there's no real regulation on any transaction of blockchain.
So, is there a need to have blockchain-specific regulations then? Especially in the fields of, say, banking or financial services?
Well, in my opinion, the rate at which the technology is progressing, the law will never be able to catch up. I think a much better approach would be making the current laws fit with the new technology. The regulations we have at the moment need to be broader so they can encapsulate all the new technological changes.
You make this concept sound so revolutionary.
It is revolutionary. The advance in technology in this space has the potential to lead a legal revolution. One of the main areas of impact that blockchain technology is having in the legal sphere has been the area of contract law. The creation of smart contract is expected to significantly alter the way in which modern contracts are formed and executed. This is because what makes blockchain so special is that not only does it keep records, which are immutable, it also creates process of execution from one node to another in a decentralized manner.
Wait, so you're telling me we could have our contract issues resolved digitally?
In a way, yes. Distributed ledger allows simple contracts to be coded in a way that will enable them to automatically execute when specific conditions are met. For example, on Ethereum, a blockchain project, a share certificate could be programmed to automatically send owners of stock dividends if corporate profits have reached a certain level.
Seriously? Are there no legal issues in Australia around smart contracts?
Well, there are. A legally enforceable smart contract, must still meet the traditional elements of a contract. Any duress, undue influence, or unconscionable dealing could render a smart contract void at law. Australian courts are yet to address a smart contract disputes, though.
But how can any of that be proven in an online context?
That's the issue at hand. These things may potentially be unstoppable in the digital world. The online identity of a party is generally unknown, let alone their capacity to enter into a contract. There's still a lot of work to be done with regard to legal framework under which these contracts fit in.
Interesting. Are there other areas of the legal profession that could use blockchain as well?
Another area that this could impact is intellectual property rights management. Blockchain could potentially create a globally accessible ledger of all individual filings that give what I like to call clean and clear rights of use to all parties. So, for example, someone could submit their trademark, then an algorithm could assess similarities with anything in the ledger, and then the system would grant or deny the trademark.
Wow, quick and easy, and probably cheaper too. Could you potentially do the same for, say, land registry and deeds?
I feel that's a great idea for developing countries who don't already have a centralized database or follow a general law title system. It would clearly show everybody who owns which bit of land, and in countries affected by corruption, the transparency achieved would be groundbreaking. In Australia, the advantages are limited seeing we already have torrent system, where the registered proprietor has an indefeasible title to the property. But nonetheless, there are plenty of cases in Australia where property fraud has occurred. So maybe blockchain could have some advantages here.
It sounds like blockchain is going to remove the need for lawyers altogether. Is this thing jeopardizing our future jobs, Karan?
Not exactly. On the surface, it may seem like we are being automated out of a job, but in reality, all these programs need to be written leveraging off human expertise. A coder alone cannot write software to solve legal problems. You need lawyers to help them get there. On top of that, these are only applicable to certain generic contracts. Any exceptions will still require legal professionals to be consulted in order to accurately create a contract. Lawyers aren't going to lose their jobs. Their jobs are just going to change and potentially require a different set of skills to be added.
So, what's the flip side of this? I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, in the case of data integrity issues, there may be some serious flaws in the blockchain. For example, recently there was a hack that raised some transactions as potentially fraudulent, and the only way to combat it was a hard fork. Essentially, they had to rewrite the blockchain ledger from the point of the hack onwards. Not only does this raise issue around the security of blockchain transactions, but also raises issue on the arbitrary actions by blockchain developers in cases where they feel the transactions are dubious or fraudulent.
Sounds like a problem for the coders, don't you think?
Well, not exactly. Inevitably, the authors of smart contracts, who could be lawyers, might become potential targets for claims if a smart contract contains a bug which is exploited.
So, as a final thought, do you think lawyers need to learn how to code now?
I think it's never going to hurt. In fact, maybe then the lawyers can be the ones stealing the job from a coder.
Well, folks, that's all we have time for today. A big thank you again to Karan for giving us a great segment on blockchain technology. And here is your next tune for the morning.